Catherine will speak on my behalf. Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking our intervention in the Epstein matter, but like Andrew, she must face her own consequences.
The royal silence that followed Meghan Markle's alleged attempt to reach King Charles III has become the biggest mystery shaking the palace walls, because behind the closed doors and carefully chosen statements, many are asking one explosive question. Did the monarchy finally decide that the Sussex chapter was no longer a family matter, but a battle of control? According to claims circulating among royal watchers, the situation reached a dramatic turning point when communication between Meghan and the king reportedly hit a complete standstill, leaving observers wondering whether the most powerful message was the one that was never spoken. The silence itself became the headline. For years, the relationship between Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the royal institution has been surrounded by public disagreements, interviews, accusations, and moments that appeared impossible to repair. But this latest chapter has created a new level of speculation because the question is no longer just about family tension. It is about power, position, and who controls the next move. Some royal commentators believe that the palace's approach represents a major shift, less emotion, fewer public reactions, and a colder administrative strategy designed to prevent another media storm. The biggest talking point is the alleged decision to move Sussex-related discussions away from the king himself and toward the future of the monarchy, represented by Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. If true, this would send a powerful symbolic message. In royal circles, access is everything. A conversation with the monarch carries a different weight than a conversation through official channels. So when the center of communication appears to change, people immediately start reading between the lines. Is this a simple organizational decision, or is it a carefully calculated boundary? The controversy becomes even more intense when the name of Prince Andrew enters the discussion. Any comparison involving another royal family crisis immediately attracts attention because it reminds the public of previous moments when the palace had to protect the institution above personal relationships. The suggestion that the Sussex situation is being treated with similar caution has created a wave of debate. Supporters argue the palace is simply protecting itself, while critics believe the family divide has become deeper than ever. Meanwhile, the alleged requests and negotiations surrounding a possible return to the United Kingdom have fueled even more questions. Rumors and reports have claimed that discussions involve security, accommodation, and the role of Harry and Meghan's children during any future visit. Whether every detail is accurate or not, the bigger story is the same. The return of the Sussexes to royal spaces continues to be one of the most sensitive subjects inside the institution. And this is where the situation becomes a real power struggle, because bringing the children back to Britain is not just a travel decision. It carries emotional weight, historical symbolism, and public attention. Archie and Lilibet are connected to the royal family by blood, and any appearance involving them automatically becomes a global event. That is exactly why every move around them becomes carefully watched and heavily analyzed. The question many observers are asking is whether the Sussex camp expected emotional pressure to change the palace response. After all, the connection between a father, a son, and grandchildren is something that naturally carries enormous influence. But the Martin monarchy has always balanced personal feelings against institutional responsibility. And if the palace truly chose silence over reaction, it suggests a strategy built around refusing to be pulled into another public confrontation. The most fascinating part of this entire drama is the contradiction at its center. The royal family is supposed to represent tradition, unity, and connection. Yet behind the scenes, the story appears to be about distance, limits, and control. Every unanswered message becomes a clue. Every public appearance becomes a statement. Every absence becomes something people try to decode as the Sussex story continues to unfold. The biggest battle may not be happening in front of cameras at all. It may be happening through closed doors, private decisions, and carefully controlled silence. Because in the world of royalty, what they choose not to say can sometimes create the loudest reaction of all. And with tension still surrounding future visits, security questions, and family relationships, this chapter may be far from over. The tension surrounding the Sussex situation only grew stronger as every new detail became another piece of a much larger puzzle. What began as a family disagreement transformed into a public battle over image, influence, and the future shape of the monarchy itself. The biggest mystery is not simply whether conversations are happening behind closed doors, but whether the old rules of royal negotiation have completely changed. For years, emotional appeals, family history and public sympathy appeared to play a major role in royal conflicts. But now, many observers believe the institution is operating differently, with structure and strategy replacing personal reactions. The alleged shift toward handling matters through official channels has become one of the most discussed elements of this entire situation. Instead of direct emotional exchanges, the focus appears to be on procedures, boundaries, and carefully managed responses. That change matters because the monarchy has always depended on symbolism. Who speaks, who appears beside whom, and who receives access are all signals that the public immediately notices. In a world where every photograph becomes a headline, even a simple change in communication can look like a dramatic statement. The arrival of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, into the center of this conversation adds another layer of intrigue. As the future king and queen, their role is not only personal, but institutional. Any decision involving them carries the weight of the monarchy's future. That is why many royal watchers are paying close attention to how the next generation handles the Sussex issue. This is no longer just about old disagreements, it is about how the crown protects itself moving forward. The most controversial part of the discussion remains the question of a possible return to Britain. A visit involving Harry, Meghan, and their children would automatically attract enormous global attention. The public would not only watch where they go or who they meet, but also who welcomes them and who stays silent. Every missing handshake, every absent appearance, and every closed door would become part of the story. In royal drama, absence can sometimes speak louder than presence. The security debate has also added fuel to the fire. It has become one of the most complicated issues surrounding Harry and Meghan's relationship with the institution. Supporters argue that safety concerns must always come first, especially when children are involved. Others believe the discussion has become connected to larger questions about royal status and responsibility. Either way, the issue creates a situation where every decision carries public consequences. The most fascinating part of this entire saga is how both sides appear trapped by the same thing: public attention. The Sussexes have built a global platform where every move becomes international news, but the palace has also learned that reacting too quickly can create even bigger storms. The result is a strange battle where one side appears to push for recognition while the other side appears determined not to be pulled into another cycle of headlines. And perhaps that is the biggest transformation of all. The monarchy is no longer responding to every controversy in the same way it once did. Instead of dramatic public clashes, the strategy appears focused on patience, silence, and waiting for moments to pass. To supporters, this looks like discipline. To critics, it looks like distance. But either way, the impact is undeniable. As the world watches the next chapter unfold, one thing remains clear: the relationship between the Sussexes and the royal institution has entered a completely different era. The old expectations of automatic access and traditional family reconciliation appear to be facing new limits. The unanswered questions continue to grow. Will there ever be a true rebuilding of trust? Can personal relationships survive when institutional responsibilities come first? Or has the divide become something too deep to repair? Because behind the headlines, behind the photographs, and behind every carefully chosen public appearance, there is still one unanswered question hanging over the entire royal drama when the doors of the palace close. What decisions are really being made inside? And as this story continues to develop, the silence itself may remain the most powerful statement of all.